Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I think that the vast majority of us in the civilized world should now be extremely concerned at the escalation and level of warfare that is going on in front of our faces, and yet many of us are failing to acknowledge it or come to grips with what it could actually mean. And what do I mean by that? Well, I want people to think about this just for a moment. If, in fact, a large-scale war in this century were to break out, all right? Think about this. We had the war on terror, but there were coalitions. Nuclear weapons were never even considered nor discussed, okay? And certain alignments were made. It wasn't first world nation versus first world nation. It wasn't we have generational space warfare, okay? And about 2.5 weeks ago, it was proposed that we, and when I say we, the United States send long-range rocket technology where they could penetrate 200 miles into Russian borders from the Ukraine. All right? And that was a no-no. People talked about that being a red line within the Russian power structure, including Putin himself. And there have been threats of nuclear warfare from the sky via his administration that have been completely ignored. Now, on the heels of saying, hey, we're not going to send these rockets that go 200 miles in, but we will send artillery that gets 30 to 40 miles in. And now it seems like we have our first military strike within Russia. I'm not saying it's 100%. You never know with these things. It could be propaganda. But remember, we started doing this 2 weeks ago. And then we're also going to discuss how now Elon Musk is getting full coverage for aiding the Ukrainians in warfare. Let me repeat this, warfare in this conflict. And China is now openly stating it needs to find ways to take out Starlink. Because without Starlink, they wouldn't be able to acquire military targets and have communications outside of where these actions are taking place. This is warfare, modern warfare. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share. We're all over the place. We're on Rumble. We're on Rockfin. That's where we are, uncensored. We're fully demonetized over on YouTube. I still need you to go over there, subscribe, thumbs videos up, subscribe, share. You really want to support the broadcast, buy me a coffee. Let's get going. Because a lot of this is big, all right? All right, so here's Britain giving the Ukraine the long-range missiles along with us. It's not just Britain. We're involved as well. I want everybody to understand that this is happening. And then we have this instance right here where apparently they're hitting a military base 40 miles inside the Russian border. And we're going to play this clip really here quick. Apparently that's what that is. I don't know whether it's true or not. I don't know whether we're seeing Ghost of Kiev stuff. I have no clue. But I do know that we are in fact arming these people, okay? And it looks like we've got several different angles of this. So, you know, is this the result of that? Or do we have other tricks up our sleeves? Now, I'm not proposing what I'm about to show you is being utilized right now in the Ukraine, okay? But I do want to show you that publicly, DARPA's talking about next-level hypersonic weapons, all right, and nuclear-powered spacecraft. Just want to throw that out there before we get to the next part of this video. Because when you start looking at this, number one, Medvedev is saying the horsemen of the apocalypse are on their way. Are on their way. We'll get to that in a minute. Russia could destroy all NATO countries in half an hour if there was a nuclear war, head of Kremlin space agency claims. And this is Dmitry Rogozin. And remember, he's interacting with Elon Musk on Twitter. Like, he's literally these people are interacting with him. And now Politico has done this, I'll say this. They brought up SpaceX. People understand SpaceX, is a front for NASA. It's a military-industrial complex company for the Department of Defense. All right? This is called Ukraine X. And Politico couldn't get any kind of official comment from SpaceX. And they never bring up, I want to repeat this, never, throughout the entire thing, bring up what? The program known as Blackjack, the ride-along program. And we know these are taking place at the same time, all right, publicly in many instances. This is the classified versions of the different types of satellite weapon systems they're even letting us know about. All right, this here is an extensive article. Again, SpaceX has no comment on it, but they talk about throughout this how without it they wouldn't be able to communicate. How also this is how they target Russian tanks via the drones. Remember, we're giving them Sidewinder drones and Ghost drones. All right, where's this paragraph right here? Ukrainian drones have relied on Starlink to drop bombs on Russian forward positions. People in besieged cities near the Russian border have stayed in touch with loved ones via encrypted satellites. Zelensky, the country's president, has regularly updated his millions of social media followers on the back of Musk's networks, as well as holding Zoom calls with global politicians from U.S. President Joe Biden to French leader Emmanuel Macron. All right, you understand this? All of it. They're utilizing this in warfare. Where is it right here? SpaceX did not respond for repeated requests to comment on its involvement in the Ukraine. Of course not, because it's all Defense Department. It's exactly what it is. And that's why the Chinese, look, here they are receiving them. I think this is like 6 days ago. They're constantly putting these in. They're giving them longer range missile capabilities. Okay? This is Business Insider. Business Insider's, Axel Springer Group. They're represented the Bilderberg Group. China's paying close attention. Oh, really? Yeah. Since the start of the Russian invasion, the U.S. and its NATO and European allies have sent Ukrainian security, economic, and humanitarian aid worth tens of billions of dollars. Assistance to embattle Ukrainians has come from general public and private sector, too. One of the most notable contributions has been that of Starlink, a satellite communication system run by Elon Musk's SpaceX. Okay, says it's delivered 15,000 of them. Oh, out of the goodness of his heart. This stuff is insanity, the way they portray this. All right? Ukrainian troops have used it to coordinate counterattacks or call in artillery support. So this is a weapon of warfare. I called this from the beginning, and no one wants to talk about it. And now, again, you have not only the head of the space agency, but Medvedev, he doesn't say these type of things very often. They want death for Russia, and while I'm alive, I will do everything to make them disappear. Lovely. Lovely. It's a great situation. I'm so happy that this is escalating. So what can we do about it? I'm not sure what we can do about it. I think that we individually each need to prepare for certain scenarios. And one of those scenarios is if there is a military type strike in the United States or in a European nation by Russia or anybody else for that matter, it would be blamed on Russia at this point. Unless they somehow make it with, Russia working with Al-Qaeda white supremacists on an ISIS island somewhere. There's a little bit of flavor of all this stuff. But if we're talking nation states, they're the new boogeyman again. Think about that. What was the last time that the war on terror or 9/11 was even invoked? It hasn't been at all in this administration. I mean, at all. That's old news. Apparently that terrorist threat is over. It's white supremacy, domestic terrorism, and Russia, Russia, Russia. So, again, folks, we have to realize we're on next level warfare, that they are poking the bear, poking it. And eventually it's going to poke back in some respect. I do believe that. Now, the question is on what level, and if they do something low level, will something else magically happen? Any way you look at it, I would say this: have a plan. Have a plan in case you know what hits the fan. Be able to feed yourself, know your neighbors, have an escape route in your car if your direct area is probably not the best place to be in. Have a plan. It's 2022 and things are wild. The links are down below to follow me. Rumble, Podbean, Rockfin. You can become a subscriber over at Rockfin, get everybody's stuff, $9.99 a month, $99.99 for the year. I want to thank everybody who throws me the tips. I want to thank everybody that's bought me a coffee. $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. This is a short one, but I want to let everybody know this is a serious issue. The media is not taking it seriously at all. These are fluff pieces, okay? They are not in depth whatsoever. They're not talking about the blackjack systems. They're not talking about the strategic the strategic defense initiative from the 80s that we are in multi-generational. And they're not talking about this before I go, okay? Because this is 2018, and this is Dennis Bushnell of what? NASA being asked, how could you ever be asked this? Well, he's being asked about these type of satellite systems.
Is the Russian satellites that are moving in unknown and unusual paths. In other words, satellites are no longer just satellites, but now they are moving around in unknown and unexplained patterns. Can you comment on that and the evolution you see of satellites with that similar technology?
And the second one is the Russians apparently have satellites up there that not described. They're moving in strange ways, and there may not be normal satellites. Maybe doing something different. And so, what's that all about?
Thinks it's hilarious, by the way.
No comment.
Oh, come on now. No. Killer satellites? Are they? No. Okay. All right. Sorry, Ty. One
No,
for
no.
two.
What he didn't tell you is I'm the NASA rep to the National Intelligence Council.
National Intelligence Council. This is about space warfare. That's what NASA's about. That's what DARPA is about. And this is global spectrum dominance. I would encourage people to check out blast wave accelerator technology utilized in what's known as mini-sats, among other things. Not about left or right, guys. About right and wrong. Do want to remind everybody, I'm going to be speaking in Rochester. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking in Rochester on the Reawaken America Tour. You can come and see me there. I would love to have you. All right, a lot of great speakers out there. And if you want to see my band from YouTube, again, dare to talk about transhumanism and Musk and space warfare and some of the things we talked about here, ban this one from YouTube. You can see it over at Thrive Time Show. Not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. I love you guys. I'll see you.